Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. He's your host.
All right, my beautiful people, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully everybody's doing well this morning on this hump day. I think it's hump day. Is it hump day? Is it? Yeah, it's hump day. It's Wednesday. That's right. Just had Valentine's Day. Hope you guys had some good time. We had a good time last night as we were talking about Valentine's Day, and we had our Valentine's Day investment session. So hopefully you took part in that. If you didn't, you missed a good time, but we got something else going on tonight. There's always room to start talking about money. That's what we do. This episode is brought to you by True Detergent. It's black-owned and manufactured True Detergent right here in the Atlanta area. We're doing free delivery to your doorstep. It's 101 ounces for $15. It's 15 cents per wash. Go ahead and make the switch to True today. Make the switch. All right, so here's the deal, guys. ERDJ Enterprise, your certified financial educator. Today we're getting started back into our book club, and we're going through the 48 Laws of Power. That's right, 48 Laws of Power right here, and we're in law number 11. So we'll be getting started with that in just a second. I know it's early, still getting a couple people a chance to join us there this morning. A couple things that are coming up. Today and tomorrow, we got a Club Millie plan presentation. So if you're a person that's like, hey, what is Club Millie? I want to get more information. Well, you want to go ahead and sign up for that. It's free for you to come and find out all you need to know about Club Millie, what we're doing to help 1,000 people save and invest $1,000 this year. So you want to go ahead and click on that. Go ahead and get your seat. I think today is sold out, but tomorrow we have a few seats still available. So go ahead and get your seat so you can find out what Club Millie is all about and how we can help you to be a better you financially. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. We also have tonight, we have our Dow Jones, our Dow 30 investment session. This is a great place for you to be if you are a beginner. What's going to happen here is we're going to start to go through each company in the Dow, which is the 30 most significant companies in America. So if you're like, hey, I don't know where to start, I don't know anything about investing, well, this is where you want to be. You want to be there with us tonight. We're going to start to go through companies like Apple, Nike, Disney, Walmart, some of your favorites, places you probably go shop at all the time. And we're going to look at them from an investment standpoint to see if we can locate some investment opportunities. So we're inviting you to that. It's only $10 if you're not a member. If you are a member, that means you get to come for free as part of your membership. And then also we have coming up on Saturday, what I'm excited about is our stock market class for kids. So if you have a child in grades 4 through 9, there's going to be an opportunity for them to learn about money. And my thing is, hey, I want to make sure that we teach the next generation early what we learn late. Again, we want to teach the next generation early what we learn late. So go ahead and get your kids signed up for that. That's this Saturday. Don't say it was never available. Don't say that you wish your kids would have learned it early. What you can do is say, hey, I did something different for my child than what was done for me. So that's going to be stock market class for kids this Saturday. I'm going to be teaching it personally myself. So go ahead and bring your kids out. It's going to be online, so you don't have to worry about going anywhere. We're going to meet you in your living room. You can have a good old family time at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Anyway, good morning, Cookie. How are you? Good morning, Anthony. What's going on, brother? Esther Bear in the building. Ron in the building. So here's the deal, guys. Going through the 48 Laws of Power. And the thing about this book is very controversial. It really is. But we found out yesterday and the day before there's some great things that are in here. So we want to take things away from it. And we also want to kind of, be a little thing. So today, here's the deal. What we're doing this for is we want to go through and start to discover strategy. Everybody put in the comments below strategy. So here's the deal. There's some things that we can actually apply to our life, right? But there's some things that you need to recognize when it's being applied upon you. So I think today we're going to find out there's some things that we need to realize when it's being applied upon us. So I know you don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. What's going on? Crystal Mendoza in the building. Law number 11. Let's get it. Hey, law number 11 says, learn to keep people dependent upon you. That's right. It says, learn to keep people dependent upon you. And here's your judgment here. It says, to maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. To maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. The more you are relied on, the more freedom you have. Make people depend on you for their happiness and prosperity, and you have nothing to fear. Never teach them enough so that they can do without you. Whew, this is going to be a barn burner here. All right, learn to keep people dependent upon you. To maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. The more you are relied upon, the more freedom you have. Make people depend on you for their happiness and prosperity, and you have nothing to fear. Never teach them enough so they can do without you. All right, guys, that's law number 11. Let's go in and look at the keys to power here. Again, we want to recognize when we can actually use this law to our benefit, but we also want to recognize when it's being used upon us. And I think with plenty of times in our community, we have been made to be dependent upon others for our happiness and prosperity. So we want to break away from that, and we want to learn that, hey, you know, we can be happy and prosperous without other people, without some of these things that he put in place, quote unquote, for our benefit. But it's really to be dependent on someone else or something else. So here's the keys to power. The ultimate power is the power to get people to do as you wish. Woo! The ultimate power is the power to get people to do as you. I'm just reading from the book, guys. I'm just reading from the book. When you can do when you can do this without having to force people or hurt them, when they willingly grant you what you desire, then power is untouchable. The best way to achieve this position is to create a relationship of dependence. The master requires your services. He is weak or unable to function without you. You have immersed yourself in his work so deeply that doing away with you will bring him great difficulty. So I think in the ways you can actually apply this is like, if you think about the job that you have or the work that you have, if you become the person that kind of is like the go-to person, like they float everything through you, you kind of become irreplaceable, right? They're like, man, if this person let go, everything that we have gonna crumble. So you want to put yourself in a position, especially if we're talking about the job, where you almost become irreplaceable. Like, to replace you is going to take a whole lot, right? Because you are an asset to the company at this point. You're an asset to your boss. You're an asset to the boss's boss. So you want to put yourself in a position that a lot of things flow through you. So if they want to let you go, they got to think twice. Very, very difficult. It's going to be a very difficult decision because you hold some keys. Everybody put in the comments below, hold the keys. You actually hold some keys with your knowledge, with maybe some of the structure that you put in place for that organization. Maybe you are that administrative assistant that, you know, that controls the schedule and all of that stuff. Like, you hold the keys, and that's what you want to do. You want to put yourself in a position where you hold the keys. So even if you are a subordinate, you can still actually have power because you hold the keys. The best way to achieve this position is to create a relationship of dependence. The master requires your services. He is weak or unable to function without you. You have immersed yourself in his work so deeply that doing away with you will bring him great difficulty, or at least will mean valuable time lost in training another to replace you. Once such a relationship is established, you have the upper hand, the leverage to make the master do as you wish. It is the classic case of the man behind the throne, the servant of the king who actually controls the king. Bismarck did not have to bully either Frederick or William into doing his bidding. He simply made it clear that unless he got what he wanted, he would walk away. Have you ever been in a position that you can say, hey, unless I get what I want, I'm going to walk away? You've been in a position that you can actually give an ultimatum and you end up walking away with a raise. Hey, you give me a raise or I'm going to the, I actually was in this position one time. I remember because I was actually working as a contractor, and they really didn't pay me very well, but then another opportunity came and I said, hey, I got another opportunity. I'm thinking about leaving. And that's when you can have some leverage. When you're not walking away empty-handed, you walking away saying, hey, I can go to a better opportunity. That's when they start talking about, hey, we want to keep you, want to give you some money. Hey, here's what we can do. What can we do to work this out? Why? Because I held some keys. I made myself valuable to that company. So they knew if I left, it's going to be very difficult to replace me. So he simply made it clear that unless he got what he wanted, he would walk away, leaving the king to twist in the wind. Both kings soon danced to Bismarck's tune. Do not be one of the many who mistakenly believe that the ultimate form of power is independence. Isn't that interesting? Do not be one of the many who mistakenly believe that the ultimate form of power is independence. Power involves a relationship. Everybody put in the comments below, relationship. Power involves a relationship between people. You will always need others as allies, pawns, or even as weak masters who serve as your front. The completely independent man would live in a cabin in the woods. He would have the freedom to come and go as he pleased, but he would have no power. Hey, Ron, what's going on? When to be an hey, Ron? If you are completely independent, you would have no power. The best you can hope for is that others will grow so dependent on you that you enjoy a kind of reverse independence. Their need for you frees you. Louis the 11th, the great spider king of France, had a weakness for astrology. He kept a court astrologer whom he admired until one day the man predicted that a lady of the court would die within 8 days. When the prophecy came true, Louis was terrified, thinking that either the man had murdered the woman to prove his accuracy, or that he was so versed in his science that his powers threatened Louis himself. In either case, he had to be killed. One evening, Lewis summoned the astrologer to his room, high in the castle. Before the man arrived, the king told his servants that when he gave the signal, they were to pick the astrologer up, carry him into the window, and hurl him to the ground hundreds of feet below. The astrologer soon arrived. What's going on, Ron? The astrologer soon arrived. But before giving the signal, Lewis decided to ask him one last question. You claim to understand astrology and to know the fates of others. So tell me what your fate will be and how long you have to live. I shall die just 3 days before your majesty, the astrologer replied. The king's signal was never given. The man's life was spared. The Spider King not only protected his astrologer for as long as he was alive, he lavished him with gifts and had him tended by the finest court doctors. The astrologer survived Lewis by several years, disproving his power of prophecy, but proving his mastery of power. Proving his mastery of power. This is the model. All right, this is the model. Make others dependent on you. To get rid of you might spell disaster, even death, and your master dares not tempt fate by finding out. There are many ways to obtain such a position. Foremost among them is to possess a talent or creative skill. Everybody put in the comments below talent or skill. You need to possess a talent or a creative skill that simply cannot be replaced. So I got to ask you guys in the comments below, do you have a talent or a skill that simply cannot be replaced? Do you have a talent or a skill that simply cannot be replaced? Like you are so awesome at this one thing that no one else can do it as good as you. What is that for you? Have you perfected something so much so that you apply this into the lives of others that you cannot be replaced? Yeah, I know you do, Aaron. I know you do, Mr. Johnson. I'll be like, man, I can't wait to hear that history stuff and all that stuff that's going on. So do you have a talent or a creative skill that simply cannot be replaced? During the Renaissance, the major obstacle to a painter's success was finding the right patron. Michelangelo did this better than anyone else. His patron was Pope Julius II. But he and the Pope quarreled over the building of the Pope's marble tomb, and Michelangelo left Rome in disgust. To the amazement of those in the Pope's circle, not only did the Pope not fire him, he sought him out and in his own hearty way begged the artist to stay. Michelangelo, he knew, could find another patron, but he could never find another Michelangelo. Michelangelo, he knew he could find another patron, but he could never find another Michelangelo. So let me ask you this, guys. As you think about what you do, as you think about your job, as you think about your career, as you think about yourself as an entrepreneur, as you think about the services that you provide to others, is it that we know that you can find another customer, but can that customer find another you? We know that you can find another job, but can that job find another you? We know that you can find another venue, but can that venue find another you? So what we're talking about is putting yourself in a position with your talents and your skills that to find another you will be very difficult. And that takes a little expertise, right? Because if you're mediocre in what you do, then it's going to be easy to find another you. Matter of fact, it's going to be easy to find somebody that's better than you. But if you are an expert in some talent or skill, it's going to be very difficult to find another you. And ask yourself, are you in a position today that's going to be very difficult to find another you? Woo! Hey, I told you I'm going to find a way to make this power work for me. I'm telling you. All right. You do not have to have the talent of a Michelangelo. But you do have to have a skill that sets you apart from the crowd. So I want you to think about what sets you apart from the crowd. What's your standout feature? I'm sorry, not feature, because we're not talking about your looks. We're talking about what's your standout skill, what's your standout talent, what's the standout thing that you do that actually sets you apart from the crowd. And it actually could be your personality. I mean, if you're a person that just smiles, you can actually stand out from the crowd because most people ain't smiling. Most people are broke, busted, and disgusted. They're miserable and despondent. But if you're a person that just has a great attitude, that great attitude can actually set you apart from the crowd. So think about it. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a skill or a talent. It could be the joy that you bring to the room. What weather do you bring to the room? Are you a person that's affected by the weather in the room, or are you the person that brings the weather to the room? You should create a situation in which you can always latch on to another master or patron, but your master cannot easily find another servant with your particular talent. You got a particular set of skills. Like what his name, Liam Neeson say, I got a particular set of skills. And if in reality, you are not actually indispensable, you must find a way to make it look as if you are. Having the appearance of specialized knowledge and skill gives you leeway in your ability to deceive those above you into thinking they cannot do without you. Real dependence on your master's part, however, leaves him more vulnerable to you than the faked variety. And it is always within your power to make your skill indispensable. This is what is meant by the intertwining of fates. Like creeping ivy, you have wrapped yourself around the source of power so that it would cause great trauma to cut you away. And you do not necessarily have to entwine yourself around the master. Another person will do, as long as he or she is indispensable in the chain. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the man at the top of the food chain. So one day, Harry Cohn, president of Columbia Pictures, was visited in his office by a gloomy group of his executives. It was 1951, when the witch hunt against colonists in Hollywood, carried on by the U.S. Congress's House Un-American Activities Committee, was at its height. The executives had bad news. One of their employees, the screenwriter John Howard Lawson, had been singled out as a communist. They had to get rid of him right away or suffer the wrath of the committee. Henry Cohn was no bleeding heart liberal. In fact, he had always been a die-hard Republican. His favorite politician was Benito Mussolini, whom he had once visited and whose framed photo hung on his wall. If there was someone he hated, Cohn would call him a communist bastard. But to the executive's amazement, Cohn told them that he would not fire Lawson. He did not keep the screenwriter on because he was a good writer. There were many good writers in Hollywood. He kept him because of a chain of dependence. Lawson was Humphrey Bogart's writer, and Bogart was Columbia's star. If Cohn messed with Lawson, he would ruin an immensely profitable relationship, and that relationship was with Bogart. So think about this. So Lawson had it made because he was connected to Bogart. So he set himself in a position with Bogart that now Cohn could do nothing to Lawson. That was worth more than the terrible publicity brought to him by his defiance of his committee. Here's another example. Henry Kissinger managed to survive the many bloodletters that went on in the Nixon White House, not because he was the best diplomat Nixon could find. There were others of fine negotiators, but not because the two men got along so well. They did not. Nor did they share the same beliefs or politics. Kissinger survived because he entrenched himself in so many areas of the political structure that to do away with him would lead to chaos. Think about that. You are so intertwined in that job or in that company that to do away with you would cause chaos. You are so intertwined with the organization that you're a part of that to do away with you would cause chaos. You are so intertwined in your career that to do away with you would actually cause them more pain. Think about that. You want to put yourself in a position of power, even though you're not at the top of the food chain, but to get rid of you would cause much headache, much heartache. Michelangelo's power was intensive, depending on one's skill, his ability as an artist. Henry Kissinger's was extensive. He got himself involved in so many aspects and departments of the administration that his involvement became a card in his hand. So I got to ask you this. When you think about your skill, when you think about your power, when you think about putting yourself in a position that people are dependent on you, and I'm not saying people, but maybe an organization, ask yourself this. Is my power intensive, meaning that it's depending on a skill or a talent, or is my power extensive, meaning that I have so many of those pots are in my hand that if they let me go, all the pots drop? Ask yourself this, and I want you to put it in the comments below which one it is for you. Is it intensive, meaning that your skills are so refined, your skills are so awesome that you bring a certain skill set to that organization that they have to have and they can't find anywhere else? Or is your power going to be extensive, meaning that you have your hands in so many different things with that organization that to let you go means that they got to hire 6 more people? Think about that. Like, I do so much. You know, I have my hands in so much. Maybe I get paid for this one thing, but I'm over here helping it with some committee. I'm over here doing some volunteer work over here. I'm over here on this board. I'm over here, you know what I'm saying, doing something else, right? And to let me go, right? To let me go mean you got to hire 6 other people to fill all these roles because not one person can fill them but me. That's extensive. So you can position yourself either way. It's just a matter of where you want to position yourself. And now that you know this law, you can start to put yourself in positions of power, even if you're not at the top of the food chain. Woo! This is getting good. All right. So it also made him many allies. If you arrange such a position for yourself, getting rid of you becomes dangerous. All sorts of interdependencies will unravel. Still, the intensive form of power provides more freedom than extensive, because those who have it depend on no particular master or particular position of power for their security. To make others dependent on you, one route to take is the secret intelligence tactic. Everybody put in the comments below, secret intelligence tactic. To make others dependent on you, one route is to take the secret intelligence tactic. Let's find out what this is. By knowing other people's secrets, by holding information that they wouldn't want broadcast, you seal your fate with theirs. I was in a position like this, man. If you get rid of me, I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell. I know it all. All right. You are untouchable. Ministers of secret police have held this position throughout the ages. They can make or break a king, or as in the case of J. Edgar Hoover, a president. But the role is so full of insecurities and paranoia that the power it provides almost cancels itself out. You cannot rest at ease, and what good is power if it brings you no peace? Ooh, look at that. This is a good one. So what good is power if it brings you no peace? So in this tactic, if you employ this tactic, if you're gonna be the tattletale, you're gonna be the rat. You're going to be the person that has, you cannot, it says the role is so full of insecurities and paranoia that the power it provides almost cancels itself out. You cannot rest at ease. And what good is power if it brings you no peace? What good is power if it brings you no peace? So not only do we want to have power, we want to have peace. So go ahead and put that in the comments below, power and peace. We want both of those as we position ourselves properly to have some leverage. We want power and peace. If you have power and you have no peace, you need to let go of the power. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, right? We want to have power and we want to have peace. And I would say that if you have peace, ultimately you already have power. But that's not part of the book. That's something else. That may be for Sunday right there. I might get on that on Sunday when Brother E come out. All right. So one last warning. Do not imagine that your master's dependence on you will make him love you. In fact, he may resent and fear you, but as Machiavelli said, it is better to be feared than loved. Machiavelli said this, it's better to be feared than loved. And I think this type of fear is like a reverence, a respectful fear. I'm not quite sure. He says this, he says, fear you can control, love never. Let me repeat this again from Machiavelli. He said, it's better to be feared than loved. Fear you can control, love you can't. So being in power, guys, being in a position of power means that you're in a position of control. You actually have some leverage and you can actually call the shots. You are in a position of control. And he says that fear you can control, but love you can't. Depending on an emotion as subtle and unchangeable and changeable as love or friendship will only make you insecure. Better to have others depend on you out of fear of the consequences of losing you than out of love of your company. Now, of course, guys, we're talking about power. We're talking about business here, okay? So don't try to apply this to your personal relationships. We're talking about business relationships here, okay? So better to have others dependent on you out of fear of the consequences of losing you than out of the love of your company, okay? So here is your image. Here's what you want to imagine as it relates to what we talked about today, which is make others dependent upon you. You want to imagine the vine with many thorns. The vine with many thorns. Below, the roots grow deep and wide. Above, the vines push through bushes, intertwine themselves around trees and poles and window ledges. To get rid of them would cost such toil and blood, it is easier to let them climb. That's something, the vines with many thorns. And here's your authority. Here's the authority from today. Make people dependent on you. More is to be gained from such dependency than courtesy. He who has slacked his thirst immediately turns his back on the well, no longer needing it. When dependence disappears, so does civility and decency, and then respect. The first lesson which experience should teach you is to keep hope alive, but never satisfied. The first lesson which experience should teach you is to keep hope alive, but never satisfied. keeping even a royal patron ever in need of you. Now think about this, guys. As far as our community is concerned, how many times has this law of power been played upon us, where they keep hope alive but never satisfied? They keep on marching but never get anything done, never accomplish anything. They keep hope alive but never satisfied. They keep having all of these different organizations come up, Black Lives Matter, NAACP. They keep hope alive but never satisfied. I know I'm getting on some touchy subjects tonight, but let's keep it real. We're talking about this law of power that is used in the business realm, nonprofit, for-profit, and how often in our community have we gotten hope but never satisfaction? And I would say that this particular law has been used on us time and time again. And the whole reason why we're going through this is for us to understand the law itself and see where we can apply it in our lives, but then also to see where it's being applied upon us, so we can get out of that position of being a pauper or a peasant or a servant, and we can move to the position of power where we actually take control. So everybody put it in the comments below, take control. They keep hope alive, but never satisfied. And many of us, we have that hope, but we fail to go after the satisfaction or the realization of the solution to the problem for which we have hope for. I really want you to think about that today, because that happens in our community so much, that we're people of hope. But I think we need to switch to become a people of satisfaction. Woo! Yeah, you know we're going there. All right, here's the deal, guys, man. That is what it is, man. It is all about you got the power. And as we continue to go through this book, I know it's very controversial. I know we're not going to agree on everything, but that's not the point. We're reading for wisdom. We're reading for strategy, and we're going to see where we can actually apply it in our lives. And so this episode is brought to you by True Detergent. That's right, True Detergent right here. Black-owned and manufactured detergent right here in the Atlanta area. We're doing free delivery to your doorstep if you are in Atlanta. You give us a call at 678-851-2400, 678-851-2400. If you'd like to order a bottle of True and you're not in the Atlanta area, just go ahead and inbox me. I'll get you a link that you can actually use to order some True. This is 101-ounce bottle, $15, mean 15 cents a wash. And here's the deal, guys. You got to wash your clothes anyway. Why not give True a try? Make the switch. Now, a couple things coming up. We got the Club Millie presentation plan tonight and tomorrow. You want to get signed up for that so you can find out everything that you need to know about Club Millie. We're helping 1,000 people save and invest $1,000 this year, and you can be one of the 1,000. Once we reach 1,000, the club closes. That's just what it is. So you want to get in as soon as possible. We're moving forward to getting our investment club started. If you wait too late, you will not have the opportunity to join. Why? Because we're going to open this club up to people who are walking with us, not people who just want to join us. See, here's the deal. When you're walking with us, that means you're putting in the work. And I believe that the people who should benefit from the work are the people who are doing the work, not the people who just want to come in on the back end and say, hey, I see y'all do all the work. Let me go and get my cut. No, 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 no. This is a whole different club where we're talking about working together, practicing what everybody else preaches, and that is group economics. But not only just group economics, but also collective thought. It's something very powerful when you get people in the room who have the same mindset. In other words, we're trying to find ways to make our money work for us. There's no argument. There's nothing to be discussed or debated. We're just trying to find opportunities. So think about this. You got a room full of people, room full of black folk, and all you're doing for an hour and a half is looking for opportunities. You got 10 heads, you got 10 sets of eyes, 20 eyes looking for opportunity. There's no way you can't find it because you got a whole bunch of people just looking for opportunity. And this is the type of crowd that you want to be involved with. This is the type of crowd you want to connect yourself with. You don't want people that's looking for problems. You want people that's looking for solutions. And that's what we're doing. We're looking for opportunity. Everybody put in the comments below opportunity. We're looking for opportunity. And there's something to be said. It's a good book tells us that if you seek, you will find. So we're looking for opportunity. Guess what, guys? We find it. That's the crowd you want to be a part of. You want to walk away from the 90%. You want to join the 10% who are actually looking for the solutions. They're looking for opportunity. And when they look for it and they find it, they actually seize the moment. We also have tonight we have the Dow 30. So if you are new to investing, you want to learn about this thing called making your money work for us. You want to learn this language called the stock market. Then you want to join us tonight at the Dow 30 Investment Center. It is geared for beginners. It's geared for the people that don't know anything about the stock market. That's where you want to be. And then also we have on Saturday the stock market class for kids. Go ahead and get your kids signed up so they can learn a little bit about what they should know or what the schools should teach them, but they just won't. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we take those matters into our own hands, and we're going to teach our kids early what we learn late. All right, guys, this is our time here going through the 48 Laws of Power of the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Law number 11, learn to keep people dependent upon you. I hope you learned something today. I hope you took away some strategy today, and we'll be back tomorrow as we go through law number 12. Remember this, guys. It takes a village, but it starts with us. Let's build as we climb together.
Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We'll see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.